so easily too. You beat your daughter, don't you?
No, of course not. Where the hell do you get off accusing me of abusing my daughter?
I'll need to talk to Jane alone. So you can tell me the truth, do your parents beat you?
No, never.
I don't believe you. Your mother can come back now. You are a terrible mother. I'm going to take Jane away.
The hell you are. Get out of my house now.
So the child protective worker left. Then at 2 in the morning.
It's okay, Jane. Nobody will ever hurt you again.
Nobody has ever hurt me anyway.
I don't believe you. Let's go.
Mumberboo-hoo.
So the child protective worker took Jane to a foster home.
This is Jane. She's your new foster kid. Goodbye.
Hi, Jane. I want to go home. There is something wrong with you if you want to go back to that horrible place. I should take you to a shrink.
So the foster mother took Jane to see a shrink.
Doctor, there is something wrong with this kid.
What is the matter, little girl?
I want to go home.
I know what is wrong with her. She is depressed. So we'll give her Prozac. That will make her hyperactive. So we'll give her something for that.
By the time Lee was done, the doctor had put little Jane on 10 different medications, and little Jane went into a drug-induced haze, totally unaware of her situation, and there she stayed until she turned 18, when she was kicked out on her own, which is where I just happened to come into the story.
I'm on my own. I'm withdrawing from my meds. I have no place to go. I'm tired and hungry.
Does your child have trouble concentrating? Are they hyperactive? Do they have trouble following the rules and doing what they are told? If a physician has diagnosed your child with attention deficit disorder ADD, then ask for a prescription of our new drug. It helps to counter the hyperactivity of your child. Together, we can make a better mind for your child, and a much easier life for you.
I think it's frying my eyeballs. Now, I'm going to show you some more video footage and some more clips, and I want you to think about this, okay? These kids need your help. I wouldn't lie about something like this. There's no reason for it. These kids are now filling our jails, they're filling our shelters, and they're becoming the homeless winos that you see on the street. Because nobody gives a shit about them. Not the system, not you, nobody. It's up to people like me, but we have these advocate agencies that are like, oh, we're advocates for children, but they're promoting foster care. So you have to ask yourself the question. They get paid to be advocates. I don't get paid. I don't get paid a cent. In fact, this costs me money to sit here and do this. You know, I got to pay rent like everybody else. I got to eat. I got to do all this. So, I put my own money, my own time, my own effort, okay? I'm not calling myself an advocate. I'm just a person with a voice, but I am advocating what children are going through. I'm doing the job that these other people are being paid, what, $150,000 a year to do? And you know what they're doing? Backing up foster care. So how is that advocating for children? They know these children are ending up in drop-in centers. They told me they know. They told me they know the conditions. And then they said, well, we went through and interviewed the kids to get their opinions. Okay, well, these kids are being fed cocktails of like 3, 4 different kinds of drugs that aren't even approved for children. But the advocate goes and talks to them to get their opinion. Tell me, would you take the word of someone who's strung out on drugs?
Talking about a very small child who has developing kidneys and liver and brain and that sort of thing. They don't have the ability to either metabolize the drugs or to eliminate the drugs properly, and they very often become neurotoxic because they pass the blood-brain barrier.
Now, the argument made that these drugs are prescribed as part of their treatment, yes?
That's correct. But the problem with that is if you look at the long-term clinical data on these drugs, they have artificial behavioral improvements that diminish over time and completely are gone once you withdraw the drugs. So it's really only a short-term fixed situation for a behavioral issue, and many times As I said, the drugs are contraindicated when they're given, because I've seen children that are actually manifesting symptoms from a previous stimulant drug or psychotropic drug that they've been put on, and their symptoms are actually an adverse reaction, and they're acting out, becoming aggressive and violent and psychotic, and then they're placed on antipsychotic drugs, which is in fact contraindicated, because if a child is exhibiting those types of symptoms on the other drugs, then they're neurotoxic, and that means you withdraw the drugs. You don't add additional drugs, but that's done constantly.
So what's the motivation for the pharmaceutical industry to prescribe these medications that at best seem questionable, at least in the minds of many?
Well, obviously the motivation is money, and they're extremely profitable drugs.
Oh, come on. Is it that simple? We're talking about children and who are at risk. And
I'm sorry, but we had people that were given Vioxx and were given other drugs that the pharmaceutical industry clearly knew that there were contraindications in the way they were being used, and that there were risks that weren't being disclosed.
Why would a child as young as 3 ever be on mind-altering drugs?
Well, for the past 8 months, the troubleshooters have poured through reams of state documents and discovered thousands of foster kids appear to be on powerful psychotropic or mind-altering drugs. Many of these children are barely in kindergarten. Some are even toddlers. A sampling of state records. Advocates here in Florida are working to get laws passed to protect foster kids from being over-medicated. But so far, their efforts have failed. They blame the doctors and pharmaceutical companies who've lobbied against them.
We don't deal with the problems these kids have. We give them a pill.
Dr. Tony Appel, a neuropsychologist or brain specialist, was one of the expert child advocates in Florida we went to for help. We showed her the records we uncovered here in Texas.
Does it look like the kids are being treated for behavior control or being treated for mental illness?
I don't think they're treating mental illness. Not in these kids.
The psychiatrists and the people on the other side will say, well, these are sick kids. I mean, these are kids who've been sexually abused. They need medication.
Being sexually abused makes you a victim. It doesn't make you sick.
So what are we doing to these kids?
We're taking away their future. We're taking away their ability to relate to people. Trust, love, caring, the ability to put yourself in the other person's shoes and to see how they see you. We take all that away from these children.
I have no place to go. I'm tired and hungry. Hi there, I'll do whatever you want for $5.
I'll give you 4.
Deal.
What are you doing here, Zippy? Jane was then taken to a mental hospital, where she lived for the rest of her life, and I never saw her again, but I will remember her always. Thank you and have a good night.